Hey everybody, welcome back to Extreme Weather Zone. We're about to see another big multi-day severe weather outbreak starting later this week across the central United States, and that's what this video is all about. But first, if you're new to the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe for more severe weather forecast videos. So this is the current satellite imagery. It shows right now there's not really much happening. No severe weather, nothing really, except there is some crazy heat across the southwestern United States, and we'll look at that in a few minutes. But other than that, there's no severe weather or anything like that, except, some clouds and maybe some storms across the Midwest, the kind of Kansas area. But other than that, not really much happening for severe weather. So enjoy that while it lasts, because there's this multi-day severe weather outbreak coming. This is what the SPC has. They have a day 4 severe weather outlook. It's a slight risk outlook for northern Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and a little bit of southern Nebraska. And then, so that will be on basically Thursday. And then going into Friday, that expands a little bit further east, but it expands, this bigger slight risk area. And then on Saturday, you have a bigger slight risk in the same kind of area, but further south in Texas, Oklahoma, pretty much covering all of Oklahoma and southern Kansas. The CSU is showing a higher probability of severe weather already, and this is, showing a significant chance of severe weather over kind of western Oklahoma, also Kansas, for Thursday. And then for Friday, the probability of severe weather goes up, even possibly a 45%. This would be an enhanced or even potential for a moderate risk of severe weather, according to the CSU model, what that would equate to on the SPC chart. But this is showing a much bigger area of severe weather potential. That also continues into Saturday, and then this also continues into day 7, so that would be Sunday. Another kind of 30% chance of severe weather and a bigger 15% chance. The SPC, they don't have that listed on there, but as we'll see, these models in a few minutes are showing kind of the potential for a severe weather event that lasts for a very long time, a few days, but kind of a couple rounds of severe weather. And then even into day 8, this would be next Monday, so not today, but next week, a bigger, like 5% chance. That would be more of a marginal risk. Well, but this is as far out as the model from the CSU model goes. So this is showing a lot of severe weather potential. But yeah, today, nothing. Literally, not even any severe weather probabilities at all. And then maybe a marginal risk of wind or hail in Michigan and Texas for tomorrow. This is a jet stream map, kind of just showing what's happening. And you have, see, this is where you have ridging, and that's over the southwest where it's kind of warm. Temperatures of the 80s, 90s, as we'll see that in a couple of minutes, but there's kind of troughing still over the eastern U.S. This is where there was kind of not really an Arctic blast, but some colder temperatures that did plunge down into the central and eastern U.S. and into the south a few days ago. And temperatures are still going to be below average there, but warming up over time. But temperatures are below average over the kind of the northeast and the east coast and everything. But you do have that kind of troughing over the east coast, and then you have this weak system right here, this low pressure trough that will produce, we did see that on the satellite imagery, that will produce some weak weather activity, but this is not the big storm that's going to lead to the severe weather outbreak. As we make this go forward, you have this is kind of going into tonight, and then tomorrow you do have that trough goes across the Midwest. But that's not really the big deal. You have this low pressure system, kind of a trough over the Southwest on kind of into early Thursday, and that's going to start the severe weather event. And so you have the ridging out ahead of that. The warm temperatures are going to be surging ahead of this, and the higher dew points, that's going to lead to a lot of moisture, a lot of warm, moist air that is favorable for severe thunderstorms. But then, as you see, this is kind of where we would start seeing that severe weather as that jet stream is there, and then you have the upper level pattern over the kind of Oklahoma, Kansas kind of area. And then this slowly, it doesn't even, as you notice, it doesn't move super fast, so this expands and it kind of pulls north. And this is somewhat like, I think this is sort of negatively tilted, and then this is going into Friday, and then this first part of it kind of disappears on Friday night. But then you see a stronger kind of amount of energy from another trough behind it is moving through the Southwest, and that's going to lead to the second kind of phase of the severe weather event. As we'll see, that intensifies, and this is definitely negatively tilted, and you have the jet stream is stronger over the kind of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, all the way up into the Midwest. And this is actually Saturday night, and then this is going into Sunday. This continues, and then finally by Monday, that kind of lifts out of the air, and then you have more ridging. It's going to go over the area, bringing less active conditions. And then this is going towards like the beginning of May. You have this huge ridge that could prevent a lot of severe weather, but then you do have a trough. So a few days after that, that could push eastward and help to fuel some severe weather. We'll have to see what happens there. And this is the height chart, the 500 millibar height anomaly chart. You see these below average heights that will usually mean maybe storms, maybe colder temperatures, stuff like that. And then you see this huge ridge of the Southwest, and that is going to be slowly breaking down as you have this trough approaching California. Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's not moving super fast, but as you get to Wednesday afternoon, going into Wednesday night, into this would be Thursday evening, you have the mid-level kind of ridge out ahead of this, over Iowa, Missouri especially, but then you have the lower heights that's kind of where the storm is, and out in front of it is where there's the potential for severe weather. And so as this goes forward, you see this first part of it doesn't look that intense, but the one behind it really is. And then you have this huge ridge that builds over the kind of southeastern Canada, and also in the Midwest and the Great Lakes region. But that's right here. This is where the severe weather is supposed to be, and then this second part of it is what kind of generates a new wave of severe weather, and then that kind of disappears, and then it gets replaced by a significant ridging. And this is just the simulated precipitation. This just shows kind of what everything looks like in terms of precipitation. You have that kind of weak system going across the Great Lakes region with some rain and stuff like that, but then it doesn't do much, and you might have some thunderstorms, but it doesn't really develop until you get to Thursday evening. You have thunderstorms start to explode over like Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, South Dakota, places like that, or the kind of the Great Plains and stuff like that. And then it really just blows up on really on Friday. It looks like that's going to be the bigger day, but you do have this kind of low east of Colorado. That's where it generates. It seems like this year, instead of having a lot of severe weather events over the south, they haven't really had a lot of severe weather events like that. It's going to be more of a kind of an event focused in this region, in the traditional tornado alley. And that really explodes on Friday, and then this is by Friday evening. You have just a ton of severe weather going all the way from Texas all the way up to the Dakotas. And then as that first part of the storm goes away, then you see another part develops just a little bit further south of where this first system did. This is over kind of northern Texas. And then you have all the severe weather that blows up, and that's going to move north and northeast Saturday, Sunday. This is Saturday evening, and then this continues into Sunday, pushing further north. And then you still have thunderstorms further south, continuing all the way into Monday evening before this finally, tones down and really dissipates, and then it's going to be replaced by a huge kind of high pressure ridging in place that's going to probably bring very warm temperatures. Now, the thing is, here's kind of the temperatures that you would expect, and this is showing out a lot of heat across the Southwest. You have temperatures in the 80s and 90s. In Arizona, temperatures almost 100 degrees today, and that was kind of what the high temperatures were expected to be. And then it kind of starts to cool down over the next couple days as that trough kind of approaches, but then you do have warm temperatures kind of getting into the south and into Texas, Oklahoma, but you're going to start having those storms that are going to use that warm air, and it will probably cool down somewhat, but you do have very warm temperatures out ahead of this. And then after the severe weather, you notice this is showing a lot of heat, and this is May 1st. So these would be kind of the highest temperatures. You have temperatures getting into the 80s, which is not too far. I guess it's not too far above average, but it's just warm temperatures surging in with that ridging in place. Now, for the severe weather, the dew points are going to be pretty high to have some significant storms. And this is showing all the way already on Thursday. You have dew points getting into the mid 60s, which is definitely favorable for severe thunderstorms. And this goes all the way up into the Midwest with dew points about 60 degrees. And then further south, you have dew points in the mid to even upper 60s in some places. And so that continues, and you have dew points trying to get close to 70 the further south you go. And so this is definitely will be favorable for severe weather, but you do have this is kind of where you have a dry line, and that will trigger severe thunderstorms if storms form in that. This is just kind of showing where the storms would develop. This is the Euro model, so this is not a high resolution model. We'll actually know more as this gets closer with some of the high resolution models. Then we can actually say not exact timing, but more precise timing and what kind of types of severe weather we could look for: tornadoes, hail, winds, stuff like that. And the thing is, this is the Euro model showing just bulk shear surface to 500 millibars, and this is just kind of showing that, yeah, the shear isn't going to be too impressive at first. Even this is on Friday. This is 50 to 60 knots of bulk shear, which is on the lower side for this distance, but this is showing that the shear might intensify on Saturday. Could be a bad day for severe weather. This is showing the surface cape. This is just the Euro model's surface cape. It does show that, yeah, it could get to maybe 2,000 joules in kind of in the severe weather area we're looking for at first, and then it kind of expands over time. Maybe 1 to 2,000 joules, and this is just kind of the Euro model picturing some of this, and this isn't a high resolution model, but it gives an idea of, yeah, there's going to be instability for some severe weather. Now, this is the effective significant tornado parameter. And this would kind of just show if conditions are really favorable for tornadoes. And yeah, it shows a 1 to a 2, maybe even a 3 in some places. But it definitely does kind of, I guess the worst is probably on Saturday, but Friday, Saturday, it looks pretty significant. And then that kind of goes away further out. This is just kind of showing the 0 to 6 kilometer kind of shear. This is, there's shearing. So there's, favorable conditions for severe weather, but we'll have to see how bad it looks. Like, as the event gets closer, we'll have to see how bad it looks on those higher resolution models. And this is the kind of the low-level jet stream. This is pretty intense. Like, anything over like 40 miles an hour is a decent low-level jet, but this is over Kansas, possibly 60 miles an hour, 50 knots, which is not bad at all. And then this goes into, Friday night and then Saturday. That's kind of does intensify to possibly 60 knots, which is kind of wild. And then that secondary storm, this is where it gets worse. Saturday evening, it's pretty strong, like 55 knots, and then it goes crazy at night, like naturally. But this is showing possibly a 65 knot low level jet in Missouri. We'll see about that, but there's definitely some conditions for severe weather that are favorable. We'll have to see how everything lines up and if it does produce a big severe weather event, but the conditions are there for several days of severe weather. We just have to see how everything lines up for a big severe weather event or not. Well, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like this video, share the video, comment, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Extreme Weather Zone